Iran has launched a new wave of attacks targeting multiple Gulf nations, triggering panic and chaos across the region as the conflict widens. On March 12, the war entered its 13th day, with Iran launching missiles and drones towards Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and the United Arab Emirates, countries widely considered close allies of the United States and hosts to major American military facilities. The latest strikes represent a dramatic expansion of the ongoing confrontation between Iran and the U.S. Israel alliance, raising fears that the conflict could spiral into a broader regional war. Across the Gulf, air defense systems were activated as incoming projectiles crossed national airspace. Several missiles and drones were intercepted mid-flight, but some attacks still caused injuries, fires, and infrastructure damage. The escalation comes after weeks of U.S. and Israeli airstrikes targeting Iranian military sites and infrastructure, actions that Tehran says have killed civilians and damaged key facilities inside the country. Saudi Arabia was among the first countries to report new Iranian attacks. According to officials, Saudi air defense systems intercepted a hostile drone that was heading toward the diplomatic quarter of the capital, Riyadh. Authorities confirmed that the drone was shot down before it could reach its target. Defense officials also said that 2 additional drones were intercepted while flying toward the strategic Sheba oil field. The Sheba field is one of Saudi Arabia's most important oil production hubs, making it a critical target in any conflict that threatens global energy supply. Energy analysts say that attacks on Saudi oil infrastructure carry significant global implications. Saudi Arabia remains the world's largest oil exporter, and even limited disruptions to its production facilities can cause sharp increases in global energy prices. Further north, Kuwait also came under attack. Kuwaiti defense authorities reported that multiple hostile drones entered the country's northern airspace at dawn. Air defense systems intercepted the drones before they could reach major targets, preventing what officials described as potentially serious damage. However, not all projectiles were stopped. One drone reportedly struck a residential building in southern Kuwait, injuring at least 2 people. Emergency crews were deployed to the scene as authorities secured the surrounding area. The attack has raised particular concern because Kuwait hosts several key U.S. military installations. Among them is Ali Al Salem Air Base, which houses the United States Air Force's 386th Air Expeditionary Wing, along with units from the United States Marine Corps. The base serves as a crucial hub for American operations in the Middle East and has played a central role in recent military campaigns. Bahrain was another Gulf nation hit in the latest wave of strikes. The small island state hosts the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, making it one of the most strategically important American military locations in the region. Authorities in Bahrain urged residents in several areas to remain indoors after a large fire broke out in the Muharraq Governorate. Officials said the blaze occurred after Iranian drones targeted fuel storage tanks in the area. Thick smoke spread across nearby neighborhoods while firefighters worked to contain the flames. The incident has heightened fears about attacks on critical infrastructure in Bahrain, including oil facilities, ports, and military bases. Iranian strikes earlier in the conflict had already damaged several sites across the country, including civilian buildings and military installations. At the same time, Bahraini authorities announced the arrest of 4 citizens accused of conducting espionage on behalf of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Officials said the suspects had been gathering intelligence on strategic sites across the country. Investigators allege that one of the suspects used high-resolution photography equipment to capture images and coordinates of important locations throughout Bahrain. According to authorities, this information was then transmitted through encrypted software to handlers linked to the airjacky.
The arrests underscore growing fears of covert intelligence operations accompanying the broader military conflict. Gulf governments have increasingly warned that espionage networks may be operating alongside the drone and missile campaign. The United Arab Emirates also faced a fresh barrage of Iranian missiles and drones.
Authorities reported loud explosions across several cities as air defense systems intercepted incoming projectiles. Despite the defensive response, at least 1 drone managed to strike a residential building in Dubai. The impact sparked a fire that emergency services later managed to contain. Several residents were evacuated from the building while emergency crews assessed the damage. Officials later confirmed that 2 drones fell near Dubai International Airport, one of the world's busiest aviation hubs. According to authorities, the incident injured several foreign nationals. 2 Ghanaian nationals and 1 Bangladeshi national were reported to have sustained minor injuries, while an Indian national suffered moderate injuries. Officials said airport operations continued normally despite the incident. The attack on Dubai's airport is particularly significant because the facility serves as a major global transit hub connecting Europe, Asia, and Africa. Even short disruptions can ripple through international air travel networks. Earlier in the conflict, flight operations at the airport were briefly suspended following another suspected drone strike, highlighting the vulnerability of critical transportation infrastructure during the war. According to WEA defense officials, the scale of Iranian attacks has been enormous. On March 11 alone, Emirati air defense systems reportedly intercepted 6 ballistic missiles, 7 cruise missiles, and 39 drones launched from Iran. Since the beginning of the war, the WEA says its defenses have engaged hundreds of incoming weapons, including more than 200 ballistic missiles and over 1,500 unmanned aerial vehicles. The ongoing barrage demonstrates Iran's extensive missile and drone capabilities, as well as the central role of unmanned systems in modern warfare. Beyond the direct strikes on land, Iran has also targeted commercial shipping across the Persian Gulf. Several vessels have been attacked in recent days, raising concerns about the safety of maritime trade routes. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important energy corridors in the world, has become a focal point of the conflict. Roughly 1/5 of global oil shipments pass through the narrow waterway, making any disruption there a major threat to the global economy. Energy analysts warn that the ongoing war has already caused significant disruptions to global oil supply chains. International markets have reacted nervously, with oil prices surging as traders fear prolonged instability in the region. Amid the escalating conflict, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian issued a public apology to neighboring countries that have been hit by Iranian missiles and drones. Pezeshkian currently serves as Iran's president and a member of the Interim Leadership Council following major upheaval within the country's leadership earlier this month. In a televised address, the Iranian president expressed regret over the attacks that had affected neighboring nations. He said, "I must apologize to the neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran." He continued, "I personally apologize for the way this process unfolded." Pezeshkian explained that Iranian military forces had taken action following a series of attacks on Iranian territory that killed senior commanders and other officials. He said, "Our commanders, our leader, our loved ones lost their lives due to the brutal aggression that occurred." According to the Iranian president, the country's armed forces acted quickly to defend national sovereignty. He stated, "Our armed forces bravely defended our homeland." Pezeshkian also revealed that Iran's Provisional Leadership Council had taken a key decision regarding future military operations. He said the decision had been communicated directly to Iran's armed forces. This crucial decision was officially conveyed and reported to our armed forces that from this point forward, they must not engage in any attacks against neighboring countries. However, he added an important condition to that commitment. Unless, of course, those very countries themselves initiate an act of aggression against us. The Iranian president emphasized that his government preferred a diplomatic solution to the conflict. "I believe that we must resolve this through diplomacy." He added that Iran does not want to create instability for neighboring populations. "We will make every effort to ensure that no problems whatsoever arise from our side for our dear people." At the same time, Pezeshkian warned that Iran remained prepared for a prolonged conflict. "The reality is that it's war, and we have prepared ourselves for a war." Addressing regional governments directly, he issued a warning about aligning with Western powers against Iran. It would be far better for them not to become mere pawns in the hands of imperialism. The Iranian leader also accused the United States and Israel of violating international law through their military operations inside Iran. He said Western forces were carrying out attacks without regard for civilian infrastructure. They are bombing any place they wish to target: schools, hospitals, and various other vital facilities. Despite the apology, the violence across the region shows little sign of slowing. Military analysts warn that the conflict could still expand into a wider regional war involving multiple Middle Eastern states. International concern has grown as the fighting intensifies. The United Nations Security Council has already passed a resolution condemning Iran's missile and drone attacks on neighboring Gulf countries, reflecting widespread alarm among world powers about the escalating conflict.